Your tricks won't work here, fat little toad man. Shit has hit the fan, to be honest. Train, like, how do I be chill about this? I'm about to cry. Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back. So I'm coming to you guys a little bit dishevelled. We are currently in a heat wave in the UK, so I have my bikini on, my hair's a bit of a mess, whatever. But for today's video, I thought it'd be fun to read 3 different genres. I don't know whether we're going to discover which one's my favourite out of the 3. I feel like I already know kind of what genre is my favourite, which is fantasy. But I haven't read a lot of fantasy recently. I feel like, I don't know what's been in the air, but I was reading a lot at the start of the year, and then for some reason within like the last 2 months I've been in a lot more lit fic, romance kind of vibe. But I kind of want to see, just like really try different genres out, because I feel like I've been reading, as I said, a lot of lit fic, a lot of romance, and I've kind of done that like back to back with my last few reads. And sorry, there's cars going past. And yeah, I feel like it'll be interesting to see, like, and maybe just help me, because I feel like I'm getting in a bit of a reading slump at the minute. I feel like I'm not enjoying reading as much as I wish I want to and have done in the past. So I think this is a good way to like push me into reading. So the genres I think we're going to do, I think we're going to do a fantasy, a lit fic and a romance. Obviously, as I said, I've been reading a lot of lit fic and romance anyway, but I feel like we just need to get back into fantasy a little bit. I think I went through a phase where everything really felt the same. I just wasn't loving it anymore, so I've really tried to broaden my genres, which I've enjoyed, but in my heart of hearts I feel like I do want to get really back into fantasy. Like, I want to be reading more, because before I feel like at least 70% of my monthly reading was fantasy, and now I would say it's honestly about, like, currently like 10%, 20% maybe max. But yeah, I can't even remember the last fantasy book I read. Actually, that's a lie. The last fantasy book I read, this transitions very well. The last fantasy book I read was Golden Sun by Piers Brown, and I'm actually currently reading Morning Star, because this series, guys, Red Rising, I'm absolutely obsessed. I finished Golden Sun like 2 weeks ago maybe, and I've been reading lit fic romance in between that. But in the back of my mind, I've been thinking about this book a lot and continuing with this series, and I just thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. That is where my heart is telling me to go. And I have so many different fantasies on my TBR that I just really want to get to. So obviously we're not just purely reading fantasy in this video, but I thought, let's try 3 different genres. Maybe I'll word it some different way than trying 3 different genres. I don't know. It's just a concept I thought of. I was like, let's just do some genre switching and see how we go, because I feel like it may also help me get back into my like rapid reading, because the last few months have definitely been a bit slower. I'm currently on chapter 12 of Morning Star, so I've not read too much. I think I'm maybe about like 10% or so, maybe just over 10% through the book. Oh my god, Golden Sun, if you've read it, I'm not going to go into details about this series because obviously this is the 3rd book, so this is going to be spoiler free. Red Rising, you're basically following Darrow, whose point of view we follow all the way through book 1 to 3, which is this 3rd book, and he is basically grown up as a red, and they basically rank by colour in this world. So like golds are like the top, and then you've got like the pinks, which are quite low down, the reds, they're low down, all this stuff. He is a red, and he basically ends up, I'm not going to say too much, but he ends up in a situation where he gets a proposition, let's say, from like this rebellion group, and they basically they want to turn him into a gold and put him in this institution so that he can kind of like infiltrate the higher ups and like make the society crumble from within the golds area, if that makes any sense. I feel like I'm doing a really big injustice to this book, but it is so incredible. Red Rising walked so that these 2 books could run, because Red Rising was good. I rated it like a 4-star. Golden Sun was incredible. I think I rated that like a 4.5. This so far, it potentially could be a 5-star, guys. This has gone straight into it. The end of Golden Sun, I was crying. I was like, what is going on? Why is this all happening? How are we going to come back from this? And then the start of this one, you get thrown right back into it. It picks up so fast paced. There's no dawdling, I guess. You're thrown right back in, and it is so good. And I was crying within like, I think it was like chapter 5 or 6. Something happened and I was crying, and I was like, it's already not looking good. Like, this is going to emotionally destroy me. And then out of curiosity, I decided to search on TikTok people reacting, or like their reactions to the very end of this book. I had to quickly come off because there were quite a few videos that had like spoiler written all over them and they were about to autoplay, and I was like, I don't need to know that. But all I saw were people crying. So I'm scared. I don't know what to expect, but I'm heavily enjoying this series. I will keep you guys updated. So I thought we'd update on Morning Star by Piers Brown, because I am now actually about 60% into this book. I haven't done a very good job of updating, but I feel like it's really hard to give good updates on a book that's in a series, like that's not the first one, because there's so much happening right now, but I can't tell you any of it, because if you've not read it, the first one or the second one, I'm going to spoil it. So I won't be saying too much, but the book as a whole I'm thoroughly enjoying. I feel like there is something happening 24/7. Like, I'm scared for the end of this book because I just have a feeling it's going to end badly. I don't know if it's going to be badly, but I feel like it's just going to be heartbreaking. Like, I feel like Piers Brown, I don't trust this man. He's an amazing writer. This is an incredible series. Like, everything that's happened in this 60%, like, that could span 3 books worth. So let me tell you, if you're looking for a really fast-paced dystopian sci-fi fantasy book, this is the book. And I get the hype, and I'm just obsessed. I'm obsessed with Darrow, our main character. I love him. I love Mustang. I love so many characters, like Severo. There was one line that made me absolutely die laughing, which has actually just reminded me. I did actually highlight it on my Kindle because I have been reading it primarily on here, purely because the font is very small in this book, and it just makes me feel like a really slow reader when I read books that have small font. So I'm not going to say who Severo is saying it to, but he's just so funny, and he's basically like, not attacking, but he's basically like talking to someone, and he's like, your tricks won't work here, fat little toad man. Like, reading that out loud, if you haven't read it, you're gonna be like, that's not funny. Like, I was laughing, you fat little toad man. I was like, of all the things to say, of course he says that. Like, he sometimes does things that are great on me, but at the end of the day, you just can't help but love him. Like, oh, I love all the characters in this book so much, and I'm just scared. I'm scared. I'm having a very good time. So I thought I'd quickly update on Morning Star again. There's not much to say since I last checked in, but guys, I have 10% left of this book. I have 5 more chapters. I'm absolutely terrified because I think I said there's been so much that's happening. Literally every chapter I feel like I can't catch a break. And then things started to look in a slightly more positive way. And of course, in my heart of hearts, I was like, we've still got like 30% of the book. What is going to happen? And now shit has hit the fan, to be honest. And this is all I've got left. And I'm like, how do we get a resolution? How do we fix what's just happened in the last like 4 or 5 chapters? Because I'm scared. I'm scared how this is going to end. I feel like I may cry. I don't know. What the hell was that? Okay, that really threw me off. I'm terrified, but I am hopefully going to try and film me finishing this book, because I have a feeling it's gonna hurt a little bit. But yeah, I'm actually about to go out for breakfast, so I'm not going to be reading it yet. I actually went to Harry Styles last night again. Oh my god, look, you can even see. I got another top. I bought 2 tops when I went like 2 weeks ago. And I really liked the orange version, so we have the orange top now. So I feel like I've done the deed. I've got 2 of the wristbands. They're over there somewhere. I've got 3 tops. I had the best time ever. Like, I could just do that every night. I read majority of like the last percent, like 20% before the end, if that makes sense, of this book on the train. Guys, I was going through it. Like, I read it on the way into London, then on the tube, and then obviously I had the concert, and then on the way back, I just pretty much read this. And horrible things were happening, and I was on the train like, how do I be chill about this? How do I not cry? How do I not look around like, are you guys believing this? Like, I was in the trenches, and I'm terrified. I just don't know what's going to happen, and I just don't get a good feeling, and I feel like there's this one question mark on if it's going to end the way it potentially could end, and if it ends that way I really don't know how I'm going to do, but I don't think it will. I really, in my heart of hearts, I'm like, please don't let that be the ending. Anyway, that is just a very quick update. I will hopefully be back with you guys at some point to finish this book, because I do feel like I want to finish this one together. I'm gonna cry. I am going to cry. What is going on? I feel like I've been going through the 5 stages of grief, but it's not grief, it's just a sense of what the actual hell. I have 2 chapters left. I'm scared. Oh. So, as you will have seen by my reactions, I have finished Morning Star by Piers Brown. Oh my god, that last 10% was crazy. Like, that was insane. I went through the 5 stages of grief in many different ways. It was impeccable. Like, wow, if you need a sign, I feel like I'm saying this about every book I read of his, but if you need a sign to read this series, this is your sign. Because, oh my god, I'm terrified. I think there's 3 more books in this series, as far as I'm aware. And I've had a look. Actually, no, I'm not going to say, actually. I was going to mention something to do with, like, how the next book's set up, but I don't want to say that just in case you don't want to know. I feel like it's not really a spoiler, but I just like to be wary. But we have now finished this book. I feel like it's either a 4.75 or a 5. I'm undecided because there were parts where it felt a tiny, and when I say tiny, I do mean tiny, bit slow, but then the payoff for what you go through in this book, like, you can't not say this isn't action-packed, because it really is. So that's what's what kind of make me think, well, it's a like, is it a 5? I feel like it could be a 5. So I think I'll update, or I'll put it on the screen, whatever I end up deciding for this book. But anyway, I thought we would quickly go on to what my next read is. So obviously I'm doing different genres. There are 2 books that are like piquing my interest. One's a lit fic, one is a romance. But I think I'm going to go with the romance option because I feel like I really need a palette cleanser after the whirlwind that was this book. So let me grab the next one because it's actually on the floor. Oh my god, I can't reach it. Oh. So the next book I think we're going to pick up is a romance book, and it's by one of my favourite authors, but I haven't read anything by her in probably like 2 years now, which is crazy. And that author is Ashley Poston, and it's her recent release, which is The Someday Garden. She wrote Sounds Like Love, I believe, last year, but I actually never ended up picking it up. I don't know why, but I just didn't for some unknown reason. So I'm going to go into this one. I'm really intrigued by this. If you aren't aware, Ashley Poston writes romance books with magical realism, which I love. Like, I always have such a fun time. I feel like she writes so incredibly well, and she really sucks you in and immerses you within the story. So if you're unsure of what this one's about, it says here, Sophie Dreer never expected to fall in love, but over a summer in Maine she does, with the dazzling flowers and towering hedge maze of Lilymore House. But then a door appears, never in the same place twice, leading only to a dishevelled garden and a begooling thundercloud of a man confined inside, battling with the vines just as much as she is with Lilymore's own owners, two inconveniently handsome nephews. Sophie knows that she is the only person who can help Lilymore bloom again. But when you're stuck between the men on the outside and the one trapped within, can the seeds of romance bloom into something more? Like, this just sounds so interesting, and I love the magical realism element, because I feel like romance books, obviously, kind of follow the same theme throughout, and it takes a lot, I personally think, to make romance books stand out and draw you in enough. And just because of the magical realism, like, subplot, I guess, with her books, I feel like they keep you so hooked. So I'm really intrigued to start this. I feel like we're going to probably start this tonight. But yeah, I feel like it's also perfect for summer, because even the first line that I've just glimpsed, it says, there was once a house on the cliffs that grew the most beautiful flowers. It grew peonies, daisies, sunflowers, marigolds, wild and colourful and lush, while honeysuckles climbed their way over the high walls, and roses held court in secret alcoves. Like, I'm just picturing this amazingly summery flower garden, like, it just making me want to lay outside. So I feel like this is the perfect time. Summer is the perfect time for this book. And yeah, I'm hoping I fall in love with it, because I've read 3 books by Ashley Poston. I've read The 7 Year Slip, which was my first read by her. 5 stars, one of my favourite romances ever. A novel love story, I believe, which that was the most recent one of hers that I've most recently read, if that makes sense. And I think I rated that like a 3.5. That one wasn't my favourite personally. And then The Dead Romantics, which I think was like a 4.5 maybe. I really enjoyed that one as well. So I'm really intrigued for this one. I feel like it's going to be a great palette cleanser. I feel like I need something light-hearted fun that hopefully I can fly through, because I just feel like in the mood to binge something. I feel like Morningstar was obviously a bit more chunky at like just over 500. What the hell? That's really... Oh! Okay, I've pulled it off. Oops. Intrusive thought. It's like peeled off. That's annoying, but at least it's on the back. It's fine, it's fine. Don't know how that happened. But anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. But I feel like I want to binge a book, I think I was saying. Because for some reason Morningstar took me a while to get through, just because I've been so busy at work. So I feel like it'll be fun to just binge this and have a cute summery romance. Hello everyone, so when I last spoke to you, I obviously updated on finishing Morningstar by Piers Brown, and I said we were, oh my god, this matches so well. This matches so well, that's so cute. And I said we were going to be starting The Sunday Garden by Ashley Poston next. We are going to read this book. However, I've woken up, it's Sunday morning, it's not cold, but it's grey outside. And all I've seen on my TikTok are Summerween videos, and as a beloved autumn girly, it's making me want to do a more Summerween vibe book. So I've decided that today, seeing as I've got nothing on, I've done kind of everything I need to do for the day so far. It is currently 11 AM and I think I'm going to try and read House of Hollows in one day. I was just going to film this from a TikTok, which that is primarily where I will be posting me reading this book, but I was like, why not add it into this video? Because obviously it's not one of the genres that I planned on reading, but like, instead of doing lit fic romance, because I feel like they're kind of not similar, but like they're closer in genre, why not throw in, I don't know what you'd call this, like I don't know if this is a horror, but like a Summerween spooky book, because everyone's been reading spooky books. I'm jealous, I want to get on the bandwagon, and this is one that's been on my TBR for probably about 3 years. Every time autumn rolls around, I say I'm going to read it, I never do, and I really just want to know what this book entails. It's also less than 200 pages. I think it's literally like, no, sorry, less than 300. It's 92 pages. So I feel like it's potentially doable. I really hope we can read this today. My plan is to just binge it, so we will see how that goes, but I'll quickly tell you the back if you're unaware. It says, dark, dangerous things happen around the Hollow Sisters ever since they disappeared as children, only to reappear months later with no memory of what had happened to them. Odd, eerie occurrences follow in their wake. When Grey, the eldest, goes missing again, Iris and Vivi are left to figure out the mystery, but they aren't the only ones looking for her. As they brush against the supernatural, Iris realises that the world that returned them 10 years ago might be calling them back, but just how much horror lies beneath the surface. So it sounds spooky, it sounds creepy, and this is just what I want to be reading right now. So, you know what, we're going with what feels right, because I feel like otherwise, sorry, what's with my voice? Sorry. Otherwise I feel like I'm not going to get the full Sunday garden experience if I've got this book on the back of my mind. So, we're switching it up. We are now going to be reading House of Hollow, by Crystal Sutherland. I'm really excited for this one. Hopefully we can finish it today. Check back in on House of Hollow because I am now, let's see, about like 45% into the book. Sorry, I'm just holding my camera because I actually am too lazy to put it on the tripod right now. But I feel like it's good. We obviously, the sister's gone missing, so Grey has gone missing. We're seeing sort of there's like hints that maybe the three sisters know / remember more about what happened to them when they disappeared when they were younger, but nothing's really been like, nothing's actually come forward within that, if that makes sense. Like, it's been hinted, but I don't know how far that potentially goes. It's good, it's quick, but I'm also feel like I'm just reading this really slowly. I feel like I wish I was more hooked, because this is a short-paced book. Short-paced book? What? This is a short book, so obviously I'm thinking fast-paced, and whilst it is fast-paced, I feel like we are trundling through, like, certain things are happening, Grey's gone missing, but I feel like we need more to happen. I have a feeling surely by 50% something big is going to happen, so yeah, I feel like maybe in the next few chapters, maybe something will start coming to fruition, I don't know, but yeah, I feel like I definitely hope that I can finish this by today. That is obviously the aim. Get this one off the TBR, get into Ashley Poston, and continue with the Summerween vibes. So, I will check in with you guys once I've probably read a little bit more. This is so creepy. I don't want to say too much, but there's bugs coming out of this girl's skin right now. What is going on? So we have now finished House of Hollow. I did manage to read this in a day, so I'm very proud of myself, because there were points where I was like, am I gonna finish this book today? I've set myself the challenge. Am I gonna do it? We did it. I'm really glad I did, actually. I feel like this one's a really interesting one because it's definitely a YA, like, thriller, horror, mystery kind of book, which YA really isn't typically my genre. I feel like now that I'm a bit older, it doesn't quite hit the same, but I still had a good time with this. I will say it took me a while to get into it. I was into it at the start, but then it felt like this part of the book low-key dragged. And we kind of got a few answers, but it just felt very slow. And then the ending of the book picked up the pacing, and I feel like we had a lot revealed, a lot concluded in a very short amount of time. And I kind of wish we had this spread out a bit more so that we could really, I don't know, get like more from the story and the ending, because a lot of the reveals happened right at the end, and it kind of leaves off on a, like, not a cliffhanger, but like in it to a degree open-ended. It's not like a final resolution, if that makes sense. So yeah, overall, Aside to Rates won a 3.5. I'm really glad I picked it up. I feel like I've been wanting to get this off my TBR for so long, but every time autumn comes around, it's just not on my priority, so it always got put to the side. So Summerween was definitely the right vibe. I feel like maybe I want to do like a full Summerween reading vlog, because I really enjoyed reading something spooky and a bit eerie in summertime, even though it completely contradicts the weather. And I am a mood reader, normally based on the weather, weirdly. Like, I don't know if anyone else is like this, but normally summertime I reach more towards lit fic and romance, and then autumn winter time I always lean a lot more towards fantasy. I can't imagine reading about someone being on a beach in like November. For me, it just doesn't work. But you know, maybe this is the sign that it does maybe work, because thriller and freaky books in summer, I mean, it's probably just because I'm a massive autumn girly at heart. So that being said, obviously now that we've read that, where is the book I'm looking for? I don't know where my other book's gone. So obviously now that we have finished House of Hollow, which obviously wasn't originally on the plan, but we're rolling with it. I'm glad I did it. It was obviously a very fast book. It was quick and easy to read. So I feel like it's really pushed me into wanting to read more. So we are obviously now going to finally read The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. I say finally, obviously I only pushed it back one book, but I'm very excited. I'm also loving the fact that I currently match this book, because I feel like it just is the best thing. It's currently like 8:30 on a Sunday, so I don't know whether, I think I might try read like a few chapters of this one. I'm probably not going to get properly into it tonight, just because I've got a few things I want to do and I need to go to bed, so we're probably not going to go crazy with this one right now. But tomorrow I definitely will be aiming to get a fair bit into this book, because I'm really intrigued by this. Obviously I've done this like a bit backwards, so I've already read to you guys the back of this book and then I read a different one, but yeah, this follows, obviously, who does it follow? Sophie. And yeah, I think there's going to be like a weird, it's really funny actually, because this obviously says how there's like a door that's never in the same place twice, and it appears to this dishevelled garden where there's a man inside, probably the love interest. And this one, they like wander through this weird door and end up in this kind of like different realm to a degree. So weirdly, they're obviously very different vibes, but they're kind of like have the same premise to a degree. Anyway, that's maybe a bit of a stretch, but we are going to start The Someday Garden. So yeah, I will keep you updated on how we get along. So I apologise for the state of me. I feel like I'm always saying that at the minute, but we in the UK are back in another heat wave, so no makeup is stuck to my face when it doesn't need to be. Anyway, that aside, also my hair is like in the messiest, whatever the hell you'd even call that, bun, pony thing, I don't even know. It just needs to be nowhere near me. So let's update on The Someday Garden, because I think we last spoke on Sunday when I was planning to get into this one on Monday. It is currently now Tuesday. If you wanted to know the timeline, I don't know if that makes any difference, but I am now 172 pages, so I'm actually really nearing, I'd say I'm really close. I think I am pretty much halfway. No, I think I'm just off halfway. Yeah. Sorry, I just realised, I don't know if, I feel like I sound a little bit weird. I've got a really sore throat at the minute. It just came on like midway through the day. So that's great, especially with the heat. Anyway, besides the point. I keep losing my train of thought right now. But this one, I'm really enjoying this one so far. I feel like it's not giving me the 5-star feelings that I had with not the Someday Garden, oh my god, my brain, the 7-Year Slip. I feel like that will always be god tier untouchable. I don't know if I would ever find another Ashley Poston book that would reach the 7-Year Slip. I'm never going to write it off, and I hope that happens one day, but as of yet it hasn't happened. But yeah, I am enjoying this one. Obviously Sophie, I don't know if I haven't updated at all, have I? So we're in Sophie's point of view. The first chapter is like her and her best friend Harriet going to Lilymore 10 years prior to the present day, and they visit it, and Sophie says how drawn she is and how much she's always loved it, and they basically agree that in 10 years they're going to return to Lilymore together for like the 200th year anniversary of it opening and being a place. Unfortunately though, we then find out literally in chapter 2, when it goes 10 years later, that Harriet sadly passed away. I'm not going to go into detail on how or whatever, because that becomes clear as you read on. But yeah, so now obviously we're aware that Sophie is grieving. She's really struggling because it's like her best friend, her only person. She lives in New York. I don't know where her mum lives, but like her mum lives quite far away. They speak quite often, but she hasn't seen her in a while. They don't really see each other that often. And now she's working at Lilymore for, I think it's like a month or two max, to help them basically become the head gardener so that she can help when they throw the 200th anniversary party, if that makes sense. So far we've met, obviously, Sophie. We saw Harriet at the beginning, which I really liked her. I was really excited to like get to know her through Sophie, but obviously sadly she ended up passing away, so that wasn't great. But yeah, I also am loving the owner of Lilymore. They call her, I think her name's Elua, something along those lines. But she's just great. I feel like she's really charismatic. She seems just really lovely and kind. Like she's an older woman and she's going to retire, and she's kind of like, I feel like there's more to her than meets the eye. And I feel like she has more secrets and knowledge than we've kind of gained right now. But I really love seeing her, and I feel like it's just such a nice interaction for Sophie. Also, there's a guy called Wikowski, I believe, and he's like someone that helps there. I think he's like one of the gardeners or something, but I love him as well. There's like a really cute, it's not quite found family yet because they've obviously only really interacted for like a few not a few chapters, but like she's only just recently started working there, so they haven't really built a proper bond, but I'm really enjoying seeing her interact with them and build this friendship. Like there's another girl called Juliet, I believe, and they say like she's Elua's PA, but she's not. She's meant to be like the head of events or something. But even Sophie and her, like they have lunch together, and Sophie's like, oh my god, I haven't had lunch with like a friend in so long. And it's just really nice to see that for her. I feel like that's just a really nice part of the book. And then we have been introduced to both of the nephews that I mentioned on the back. I'm not going to say the circumstances around that, but yeah, I feel like there's a very interesting, like at the start, one nephew seems to come out quite strong, and then now that I'm nearing 50%, I feel like there's definitely more than what meets the eye, and I don't know if I mean that in a good way. But yeah, I don't want to say too much, but we have seen The Secret Garden, and just the descriptiveness, like this is such the epitome of like a summer read, because the way they talk about the flowers and the atmosphere and the wind blowing and the sun and like the sunsets and the sunrises, it's just so beautiful to picture, and I feel like this is the perfect time to read this book. So overall, don't know if that made any sense. I feel like my brain is really slow right now. I'm tired, I'm warm, I've worked, my throat is really sore, so I'm kind of like, feel like I'm coming to you guys a bit dishevelled. But anyway, I'm enjoying this book. I feel like we're flying through it, to be honest. So yeah, I plan to read a bit more this evening, and then yeah, I don't know when our next update, because we're kind of nearing 50%, so I'm going to try and maybe do like a 75% check-in. But yeah, so far I am having a good time. Hello everyone, so I'm sorry I'm coming to you guys, I feel like all I say is I'm coming to you guys very dishevelled. I've had probably the worst 3-4 days in a very long time. I think when I last spoke to you guys, I said that I wasn't feeling great. That was on Tuesday. Tuesday night, Wednesday morning hit, I was honestly written off. Like, I woke up, I had a temperature of 40 degrees, my throat, I could barely talk. It was so swollen and so sore. I was so disorientated, I thought I was dead at one point. I was dizzy, my head hurt. I was literally I woke up thinking I was dead. Like, I was like, this isn't normal. And also, this is a complete side note to this reading vlog, but for the last like 2 months, I've been getting quite ill, like quite repeatedly. Like, I'll have a good week, I'll be fine, and then the next week I'll be either having headaches or sore throats or something will be wrong, and then I'm fine again, then I'm back again. So when I woke up on Wednesday, honestly the worst I felt in a very, very long time. I was like, something's going on, I don't know what's going on, all I want to do is cry. It was not a very good time. So I went to the doctors because I was like, there's something wrong. I'm really unwell, I keep getting unwell. You know, I do all the, I walk every day, I exercise, I eat well, I'm doing all these things, and something's not working. And I spoke to the lady, and oh my god, she was the nicest doctor ever. Like, I honestly, one of the best doctors, nurses I've ever spoke with, and she basically told me that I had a throat infection. She basically told me that I have strep, which is quite a severe throat infection, and she basically said she thinks what's happened is I've had the throat infection and I kind of got over it, but I've not really got over it, and then every single time anything's like got me down, it's that come back, and it's obviously just come back in full force, and I got strep. So yeah, I haven't obviously filmed anything for the last 3-4 days because I was just in this bed rotting, crying, and there's a heat wave in the UK and I was running at 40 degrees. So I've been in just like my own little hell. It's currently now Saturday evening and I'm actually starting to feel a bit better. Today is the only day I've actually been able to get out of bed and do something. I say do something, I've not left the house. I literally just sat in the garden and painted today. I could show you the painting, but it's over there and I can't be asked. It's not great anyway. But all that being said, because I feel like I just needed to get that out and firstly apologise because I feel like this has just gone completely downhill because I have actually finished the Someday Garden and I got 0 footage of me reading it because I pretty much read this when I was ill. I finished it this morning, I think, or yesterday night, somewhere. I can't even, the pieces of my brain within the past like 4 days are just scattered. I'm also very, very thankful for antibiotics. Like, if I wasn't on these antibiotics, I don't even want to think about how bad I'd be right now. So we're finally getting there, finally feeling more alive, and yeah, I managed to finish the Someday Garden. Again, I really apologise, but when I tell you guys I was in a bad way, I was in a bad way. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it. There's nothing I could have done. I didn't feel great. Anyway, I did make a few notes on my phone at 50%. These were my updates for you guys because I did think I need to say, like, I need to update. So I did say, when I was 50% in, I said, really enjoying this. I love, oh my god, what? Really enjoying seeing the development between Sophie and Russ. I feel like it wasn't as strong, but we're getting into the thick of it. So basically, up until the 50% mark, we get Russ and Sophie, our two main characters, sorry. We get them interacting, but I feel like I didn't really feel their bond and like their connection off the bat. I feel like that was the whole point, but it really wasn't. Even when I felt like I should have been forming this connection with them, I wasn't. But when we hit the 50-60%, I will say that did definitely grow. And then I was also really intrigued to find out about how the garden worked. We also got a kiss between them at about 60-70%, which I was living for it. And also the magic 8 ball. Basically, Sophie always had, at the very start of the book, not the very start, but like within the first like 20%, she asks this magic 8 ball a lot of questions, and I was just like thinking like, oh, this is just a quirk of hers, which it is just a quirk of hers, but there's more meaning behind why she does this. I'm not going to tell you why because I don't want to spoil it, but I thought it was really like a lovely, sentimental, just, I don't know, just a really lovely way to put this part into the story. I'm speaking in like code right now, but it makes sense when you read it, and I just loved that whole reasoning as to like why she loves asking this magic 8 ball, because I did think it's a bit of a random thing, like no one really uses these anymore, why is this a thing, where did it come from, and getting that confirmed and like cleared up, I really liked that. So yeah, as a whole I did enjoy this one. I feel like it could have been a strong like 4.5, but because obviously I wasn't really that invested in her and Russ until like 50%, I did end up giving this a 3.5. I think sorry, oh my god, I think it was so fun, it's so whimsical, the whole storytelling, the descriptiveness of the garden, and like Sophie's handling like the grief of her sister, her best friend, and like all the themes we covered were great. I don't know what it was, it was so close to a 4, but because I didn't feel their connection, and then when we kind of got it, it kind of was like right near the end, and I was like, oh, I wish we had this like here, because I would have loved to see that and been involved with that. But as a whole, I'm really glad I read it. I really did enjoy it. I still love Ashley Poston's handwriting. Oh my god, I love Ashley Poston's writing style. I love her books. They always feel, obviously they're magical realism, so they're going to feel magical, but they just feel even more magical and whimsical and just incredible. Anyway, that is a very long update. I am coming to you guys like a bit of a mess right now, but thank you so much for watching today's video, especially if you've carried on till the end, because obviously I feel like it kind of flopped a bit, but I really appreciate it. So thank you so much. Please subscribe, and hopefully I will see you again in the next one.